Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Can you believe it? I feel like the weeks have been going a little quickly, which can be good sometimes. So I can't believe it already. And it is a rainy day. You gotta remember, just because it's rainy, it's not a crabby day or anything. It's a good day, just rainy. Might be warm enough for jumping in puddles. We like to jump in puddles in our house. At our house. You know, it's also really fun to do chalk in the rain because the chalk gets wet and the chalk. I'm gonna let you guys see how it is, but it is pretty fun to do chalk in the rain if it's not pouring down rain. If it's just drizzling. All right, so we're doing ocean. So I actually have an extra lesson for you to do, a fun project. So we're gonna do that too as well. So the songs I'm gonna sing today are not ocean related, just some people have been wanting me to sing it for a while, so I wanted to sing them today. Happy Friday, and a happy Friday. But I got a fun book and a fun project. So, and then this weekend, we're gonna release our butterfly. So I'm gonna record that and we'll put it on our Monday video because hopefully I can get some good video of them flying away. It's gonna be warm this weekend. All right, so we're gonna do It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood from Mr. Rogers. Ready? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? I love if everyone was my neighbor. I would like to spend time with all those people. All right, and then I love the mountains. Now remember, it goes up, 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 up. So bear with me with my voice. I love the mountains. I love the mountains. I love the rolling hills. I love the flowers. I love the daffodils. I love the fireside when all the lights are low. Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada. I love the mountains. I love the rolling hills. I love the flowers. I love the daffodils. I love the fireside when all the lights are low. Boom-de-yada, 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 boom, boom, boom. Ooh, I gotta practice that more. There's a new chord called G minor that my fingers are not quite used to yet. So when I play the ukulele, I'm playing different chords, right? And my fingers have to get used to different ways because this is not a normal, comfortable position for my fingers to be in. So it takes me a little time to practice them, and I guess I haven't practiced that chord in a little while. So gotta practice. Even I have to practice. We all have to practice on some things. Pretty much a lot of things. All right, let's do When the Red, Red Robins Come Bop, Bop, Bopping Along. See if my fingers will work on that one by Harry M. Woods. When the red, red robin comes bop, bop, bopping along, along, his old sweet song. Wake up, you sleepyhead. Get up, get up, get out of bed. Cheer up, the sun is red. Live, laugh, love, and be happy. What if I've been blue? Now I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but still I listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing a song. When the red, red robin comes, bop, 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 and when the red, red robin comes, bop, 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 and when the red, red robin comes, bop, bop, bopping along. Woohoo! Isn't that fun? All right, let's go to our fun project. So we are gonna make a puffer fish today, but interestingly enough, we're gonna do it a little differently than you would think. So first we need some dark colored paper. We did blue because of the ocean. And then we have some yellow paint in a tray, some white paint. We have, if you don't have, we have googly eyes, but if you don't, you can always cut some paper out and draw the black or cut black out. And I cut out just a piece of white, a circle, and I'm going to use a marker for that. So I have a marker too. And then I have some glue for my googly eyes in my mouth. But then I have a paintbrush, and then I have forks. We're going to do some art with forks. Isn't that kind of cool? All right, let's get ready for the first part. Okay, so we don't need the brush. And I brought two different forks out because I wasn't sure we were going to experiment. Then we have a smaller fork, like a salad fork, and a standard fork for like dinners and stuff, for meals. So let's try the salad fork, Maddie. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to actually put it in the paint. Okay? And then we're going to go and make all these lines like this. Want to try? I might have to get a little more paint. There you go. Now try. You're going to want to make it like a fan, so I'll go this way too. Like a rainbow. We have not done Maddie's hair yet. All right, let's see, Maddie. How about some right here? So there's the top part. And then I'm going to turn it around. So it's upside down. And, well, you know what? We're just going to use the big fork. And we're going to do it in white. And we're going to do the same thing, but now down here at the bottom. You want to try, Maddie? Okay. And we're going to keep going until we kind of have the same look of the white part. Okay? All right, so there we go. So we just made another fan on top. All right, let's turn it back the top way. So that's the body of the pufferfish. And now Maddie has a paintbrush. And I'm going to show one side, Maddie, and then you show the other, okay? And we're going to get the more yellow again. And we're going to make the fins out here. Make one fin over here. We might need more paint. Make one fish fin here. And then, Matt, you can make the other one over here. So those are the two fins we just kind of made. You can make triangles, or you can just make a blotch. And then you can even take some white and add white streaks in it.
Can I do that?
Yeah, here. Do it in this fin. Can you do it in that fin? Yeah, nicely done. Okay. That's our body of our fish and our fins. Now, we have googly eyes and a mouth. And I'm going to have Maddie color in a circle.
A circle.
A black circle right there on our mouth. Okay, can you do that? Can you color that in?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, we got two. That works. I was going to make it a mouth like this. Macy? You can put them together. It's trickier. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, and you can color it in. Do you want to color that circle in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or that's on his
Nope.
head.
So now we have his mouth and his eyes.
Look, Mom, I'm drawing on his
I see. All right. So we need to open the glue. We're going to put a little glue. Uh-oh. There we go. A little glue there, Maddie, for one eye. And another eye over here. Okay. Can you put the googly eyes on? Right where the glue is. There's one spot here. See the glue spot right there? Okay, and this one. You can use your other hand if it's easier. All right. And then we're going to put some glue right here in the middle. And that is for his mouth. But let's turn his mouth this way. And you have a pufferfish. Pufferfish.
It's my pufferfish.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoy that. It might be fun. It'd be very interesting to play with doing artwork with a fork. Okay, so I have this fun book that I got at an airport bookstore, actually, which I thought was kind of fun. I actually like going to the little bookstores in the airport when I go flying to like Seattle, where my family is, to see what kind of books they have. And it's actually very interesting. They have some very, very unique books. So I have one called Going Lobstering. And it's by Jerry Pelota and Rob Bolster. It's a good book for a rainy day, too. It was a beautiful day at the beach. Linda and her little brother Eric were building sandcastles and looking for seashells. When they looked out at the ocean, they saw a boat. And they wondered what the man in the boat was doing.
Hold on, you got them. Stay there.
Their father came over and told them that the boat was a lobster boat. And that the man in the boat was a lobsterman. A lobsterman uses traps to catch lobsters. After hearing all about lobsters and lobstering, Linda and Eric asked their father if they could go out on a lobster boat someday. Have you ever been on a lobster boat? Their father decided to take them to the town pier to make his old friend Big Joe, the lobsterman. Their father told them that if they were lucky, Big Joe would take them out lobstering to check some of their traps. Big Joe thought it was a fun idea.
Madison, you have peanut butter on your face.
Sometimes we have a moment in life, right guys? It happens. The first thing Big Joe did was to show Linda and Eric the buoys that float on top of the water and mark the location of his lobster traps. Big Joe's buoy colors were green, white, and red. So a different one would be a different color. That was his combo. As they left the harbor, Eric was hoping they would catch lots of lobsters. Big Joe told Linda and Eric to be on the lookout for his buoys. So this was Big Joe's color, but you can see and hear that these are other lobstermen's buoys. So he wouldn't touch those. Big Joe explained how a lobster trap works. The trap is baited with stinky dead fish. That means they put that inside to attract the fish. Then it is set on the bottom of the ocean. There is a rope attached to the trap so it can be pulled to the surface and checked for lobsters. A buoy marks the rope that is attached to the traps. So here's the top of the water. You see the buoy, right? And then there's a piece of string that goes the rope goes all the way down. And this is the trap. And you put the food in there, the stinky dead fish, in there to attract the lobsters. So hungry lobsters are attracted by the smelly bait. There are openings in the sides of the trap so that the lobsters can climb in, but once the lobsters are inside the trap, it's difficult for them to get out, so they're caught. So here's a close-up of what the lobster trap would look like. Linda could not believe all the buoys she saw. Eric was amazed by all the different colors. Each lobsterman had his own colors, so he knows which buoys are his. Linda was the first to find one of Big Joe's buoys. Eric remembered that the colors they were looking for were green, white, and red. Look at all those different buoys. Many lobstermen. And then they found one of Big Joe's buoys. Big Joe grabbed his buoy. He put the rope through the pulley and wrapped it around the winch. He then began to pull up the first lobster trap. Linda and Eric were a little afraid. They did not know what to expect. Unfortunately, the first trap did not have any lobsters in it, but it did have a flounder. Linda and Eric thought that this was a crazy lobster trap. It caught a fish instead of a lobster. They pulled the second trap. It had 2 broken boards. Big Joe explained that they would have to fix the broken boards so that the lobsters could not escape through the hole. In the third lobster trap, they caught 10 rock crabs, but still no lobsters. Big Joe put bait on the bait hook, then threw all the crabs back in the ocean. Is he upset or frustrated? No. He's just, okay, next one. We'll try the next one. It's a good mentality to have. In the fourth lobster trap, they finally caught 2 lobsters. One lobster was much too small, but the other one looked big enough to keep. Big Joe showed them the special gauge that a lobsterman uses to measure a lobster. A lobster is measured from its eye sockets to the end of its back, and the other lobster was too small. Before throwing the lobster back in, Big Joe showed Linda and Eric how to hold a lobster. The easiest way to pick it up is by its body with one hand. Then the lobster cannot bite you with its claws or hit you with its flapping tail. In the fifth trap, they caught a very big lobster. As he picked it up, Big Joe noticed that the very big lobster had thousands of lobster eggs on its tail. Lobster's eggs have to be thrown back into the ocean so that more lobsters can be grown. So, it's hard to tell, but there's all those black spots. Those are all the eggs. All the black. Even I have to look really closely. Splash! Linda and Eric couldn't believe it. After finally catching a lobster big enough to keep, it still had to be thrown back. But it was the best thing to do. In the ocean, the eggs will hatch and thousands of baby lobsters will have a chance to grow. Linda wondered how the mother could possibly take care of so many lobsters. When the sixth trap was pulled from the water, Linda and Eric were scared and almost started to cry. There was a shark in the trap. It took Big Joe a long time to get the shark out of the trap. In the seventh trap, they caught 2 lobsters that were big enough to keep. Now, finally, they had some they could take home to show their mother. Big Joe helped Eric put rubber bands on the claws so the lobsters could not bite anyone. Lobsters have 2 claws, One is a cruncher claw that is strong and dull because it crunches. And the other claw is a scissor claw, and it's sharp and quick. So, there you got their lobsters. And then I want you to look over here. You'll see this one's much bigger, and this one's much shorter. There's a cruncher claw and a scissor claw. And those are the rubber bands just so that they don't pinch you and bite you with you. Lobsters also have 2 antennas. They have 8 legs. The first 2 legs on each side have little pincers on them. They have tails that flap. One amazing thing about lobsters, when they lose an antenna, leg, or claw, a new one grows back. In the 8th lobster trap, they caught 22 crabs, 6 small lobsters, and 4 lobsters that were large enough to keep. Claws were snapping everywhere, and Big Joe had trouble pulling everything out without getting bit. So the first 2 legs are actually here. Those are pincers. Those ones right there. And that one. And the antennas are these long, right there. Oh, that's all the crabs. In the 9th lobster trap, no one could believe what happened. Big Joe was stunned. He had never caught a lobster this big. The lobster couldn't even get its cruncher claw into the opening of the trap. They finally got it out. Wow. It was almost as big as Eric. This lobster was probably as big as the biggest one anyone has ever caught. Linda couldn't wait to tell all her friends about the gigantic lobster. Look how big that lobster is. They pulled a few more traps. After they had caught 10 lobsters that were large enough to keep, they steered the boat back toward the harbor. After seeing how big lobsters can grow, Linda wanted to know what they eat. Big Joe told them lobsters are scavengers. They eat anything they can. Snails, fish, periwinkles, mussels, clams, crabs, and even other lobsters. And those are just a few examples of what they would eat. Eric wanted to know if lobsters eat hamburgers, fries, and pizza. Big Joe and Linda laughed. Big Joe told them to remember that lobsters eat anything. They would even eat pizza if they could find some. Soon, they were at the entrance of the harbor. Linda told Big Joe that going lobstering was really fun, and Eric agreed. They were back on the pier. Big Joe was happy because he had caught the biggest lobster he had ever seen. Linda was happy. Eric was happy. Now all of their friends want to go lobstering. The end. I hope you enjoyed everything we did today. Our songs, our puffer fish with a fork, and our book called Going Lobstering. Lobstering's a big thing here in Massachusetts. Lobsters, so if you ever go out on the ocean, you probably might see some lobster boats, lobstermen, lobster people, in their lobster traps. Keep an eye out for it. Have a great weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful here finally for like 2 days in a row. I'm so excited. I hope you guys get outside a lot. And I will see you guys on Monday. Okay?